Okay, everyone. So, Superman, the very first movie in the brand new DC universe that was started by Peter Safran and James Gunn, it is officially out in theaters. And I just got back from seeing it earlier today, and I'm here to give you guys my review, my thoughts on this movie. Now, this is going to be a spoiler free review, okay? So you don't have to worry about spoilers. If you want me to do a spoiler review where I go a little bit more in depth into my thoughts on the movie, into the actual story, then let me know in the comment section down below. But for now, we're just going to keep it spoiler free. All right. So, what did I think about this movie? Now, just to keep it brief, to keep it short, I thought that the movie was okay. I thought the movie was fine, in all honesty. I didn't think it was great. I didn't even think it was really good. I just thought it was okay. I didn't think that, the movie was bad. It was just very, very middle of the road. And to me, that was actually very, very disappointing. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about my thoughts on the actual movie itself or what's actually in the movie. Again, keeping it spoiler free. But just to keep it short, I thought that the movie was really fine. And I was very, very disappointed because I was really, really expecting this movie, or not expecting, I was hoping that this movie was going to be really good. I thought it was just going to blow me away with how good it was. I thought I was going to leave the movie theater feeling just absolutely inspired, because that's what you're supposed to feel when you watch a Superman movie. Whenever I watch, the Richard Donner Superman movie, or even if I'm just watching clips from it, I always feel inspired by what I see, because it's just, again, that's what Superman is supposed to do. That's his whole purpose as a character, is he's supposed to inspire you. And while there were moments in the movie that did feel that way, overall, the movie itself, when I left the theater, I wasn't really all that inspired. I just left the theater thinking, okay, yeah, that was a movie. That was a movie I saw, and that was it. Like, that's all I really got from it. Now, to talk a little bit more about the movie, all right? So that was the sort of short version of my, I guess, this, spoiler-free review. Just for anyone who maybe, doesn't want to watch the whole video. If you're just really curious, just real quick, what did I think of it? There you go. Now I want to talk a little bit more about, the actual elements of the movie and what I think of them. Again, keeping it spoiler-free. So first of all, let's talk about the acting for a moment. I thought that the acting in this movie was pretty good. I thought all of the cast members, I thought they all did really, really well with the material they were given. I thought David Cornswell was really good. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane was really good. Nicholas Hoult definitely was pretty good. In my opinion, I think he was my favorite performance in the entire movie. I thought he was really, really good as Lex Luthor, especially towards the ending of the movie. Like, if you get to the towards the end of the third act, like there's a moment with him where I thought that he was just basically stealing the show, in my opinion. Like, he's really good, which it's not really a surprise, because Nicholas Hoult is just a phenomenal actor. So not surprising that he was pretty good in this movie. And yeah, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, I thought was great. I hope I'm not butchering her name, but I think her name is Isabella Merced. I thought she was pretty good in like the few minutes that she was in the movie. And I'm forgetting the guy's name who plays Mr. Terrific. I think you know what? I don't even want to get his name wrong, but I'm sorry. I thought he was pretty damn good, and everyone else. And the people who played. You had Jimmy Olsen, you had Steve, you had Wendell Pierce as Perry White. You had the actress who played Eve Tessmacher. I thought she was pretty good. Basically, everyone in the cast did really well. There wasn't a bad performance in the movie, so that's definitely a plus in for the movie. Like, there were no bad performances. Oh yeah, Alan Tudyk as number 4, I thought he was also pretty good, again, for like the few minutes that he was actually on screen. And that goes into another point that I want to make about the characters in this movie, which is that there were a lot of them, and going into it, I was worried that there wasn't going to be enough time for each character to properly shine. And definitely one of the biggest issues that some characters did kind of get the short end of the stick, where they're not really on screen for very long. Like, they're barely even in the movie. And I wonder if maybe there might be a bit of a longer version of this movie where you get more of the characters. And I don't know, it's just this movie, to sort of jump into another thought I have about this movie, is that this movie is quick. Like, it moves from beginning all the way until the end. Like, it does not stop. And some people I've heard have said that that's kind of a fault for the movie. For me, believe it or not, I actually think that's kind of refreshing, because I'm so used to movies being slow that seeing a movie that just immediately just starts and doesn't stop until it gets to the end is a little bit refreshing. Now, on the downside is that because of that, it doesn't really give some moments the proper room that it needs to breathe. And that's definitely a knock against the movie, which is that there were some moments where I kind of wish we would just like sort of sit with them for a little bit. And another issue with that is that there were some moments where it's not just that they will not let you just sit with the moment. It's that that moment will get undercut by either a joke or a or kind of a how do I say this, kind of a stunt by like one of the characters. Like, there was one moment towards the end of the movie, and it gets undercut by a joke, and that just, it kind of pissed me off, because I was really, really hoping that they wouldn't do that there. I was really hoping they would just leave that moment alone. Just don't put any jokes. Just leave it alone as is. It's great. I'm loving it. I'm with it. And then boom, there we go. There's another joke. And it really took me out of it. And I remember I was rolling my eyes when that happened, because like, yeah, of course. I mean, we've been getting that throughout the movie. Why wouldn't it be here? But I was still really disappointed, because I was really hoping they would just let us sit with that moment. But you know what? It is what it is. What are you going to do? And so let's talk about the story for just a moment here. So the story of this movie, I think, is, again, it's okay. Like, I don't think the story is bad necessarily. There were some moments here and there where I'm like, okay, like I'm just wondering, like, how does this really make any sense? Or, okay, if this is how this works, then shouldn't you be doing this? Or shouldn't you at least have characters be taking these actions, because it's just the thing that makes the most sense based on what you're telling me about this. And again, I'm trying really hard to be as spoiler free as possible, but let's just say that there's something with Lex. He has something, and let's just say that the heroes gain access to this something. And the only reason why they did that is because Lex, who kind of needs this thing, because this thing is really important in also like sort of like, foiling his plan that he has, what his ultimate plan actually is. And he, Lex, basically going by how he is portrayed in this movie, the way he basically like some of the decisions he makes in regards to that just didn't really make any sense. And again, like I said, I'm trying to be as spoiler free as possible. But yeah, that's like, those were just some of the things that kind of just bugged me. Just it really stood out to me, like, as okay, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. And there was one other thing, and all I will say is this: if you saw The Batman, Matt Reeves' The Batman, which came out, I think, in 2002, if I remember correctly, it might have been 2003. No, I think it was originally planned to come out in 2022, and it got delayed. I think it came out in 2023. I could be wrong, but it was either in 2022 or 2023. But if you saw The Batman, there was a moment of, I guess you could say, a revelation by the main character Batman, and when it comes to the main villain, the Riddler. And I remember when I watched that, I again just started rolling my eyes, because all I could think is, there is no way in hell, outside of you being really stupid or conveniently stupid for, the sake of the plot, that you could not have figured this out earlier. There is no way in hell you, being portrayed as smart as you are, wouldn't have figured out the answer to this earlier in the movie. And you realize, oh, the only reason it didn't happen is because, well, we need movie. Like we kind of need this character to be a little bit stupid because otherwise the movie would be over a lot quicker. There was a moment like that with this movie towards the end where Superman figures something out, and that thing that he figures out helps him win. And all I could think is, there is no way in hell you couldn't have figured this out earlier. No way in hell you couldn't have figured this out earlier. So speaking of Superman, let's just talk about him for a little bit, a little bit. And I'm going to wrap it up a little bit soon because I don't want this video to be too long. We're already 10 minutes in. So when it comes to Superman, how is he? How is the portrayal of Superman? Is it good? Is it bad? Well, like I said, David Cornswet was good in this movie. I thought he gave a great performance. The actual portrayal of Superman, number one, I do like that they have him in this movie prioritize saving people because, again, that's who Superman is. Superman always prioritizes saving people. So I do like that. Now, unfortunately, there are also a lot of moments where they portray Superman as being kind of weak. And here's the thing. I don't have a problem with Superman like going against adversaries is what I was trying to say. Going up against adversaries, enemies that can fight against him and he struggles to win against. I do not have a problem with that. That's like Superman has gone up against multiple enemies throughout his history. That's not anything new. But the thing is that with how much it's done throughout the movie, it just kind of portrays Superman as being a little bit weak. And another thing about how Superman is portrayed that personally I wasn't a big fan of is that it didn't feel like there was any real distinction between Superman and Clark Kent. And what I mean by that is if you look at Superman and how he's been portrayed all throughout his history, not just in the Christopher Reeves Superman movie, not just in, what was a Brandon Routh Superman movie. You also had Henry Cavill Superman movie, and even in, the Superman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, even especially in the comics, just all throughout Superman's history, there's always a difference between Clark Kent and Superman. Like the way each character carries themselves, like the way he carries himself when he's Clark Kent and the way he carries himself when he's Superman. Like you can tell the very clear difference. And in this movie, there was no real difference between Superman and Clark Kent. And not only that, but we barely get any scenes with Clark, which for me personally, I think is just as important as Superman because you kind of need Clark Kent to balance out Superman. And that was an issue that I had with Man of Steel, where we didn't really get a difference between Clark Kent and Superman. They were kind of the same person. Again, like the way Henry Cavill portrayed it, and maybe this was the direction he was given, but the way he portrayed him is like there wasn't really a big difference between Superman and Clark Kent. And they're supposed to be, obviously. Again, if you know Superman's history, like he purposefully acts different as Clark Kent than he would as Superman, obviously to help, sort of keep up the illusion and the trick that Superman and Clark Kent are not the same person. Now, in this movie, it was just like there was no difference. So that was something that did kind of stood out to me. Now, I definitely want to talk about something, and I really want to go into spoilers with this, but I can't because, again, this is spoiler free. But there was a decision made for Superman, specifically when it comes to his mythos. Again, I'm not going to say anything else because I'm afraid I'm going to go into spoilers, but there was a decision made to Superman's backstory that I was really, really not a fan of. And watching the movie, I thought, okay, what they're doing here is they're making us think that this is what's happening, and they're going to reveal at the end that that's not the case. Turns out, no, that actually is the case. So they really made this decision with these characters. And if you know Superman's lore, his history, you are definitely going to be pissed about this. This is a decision that you are not going to like. If you are a fan of Superman's history, his backstory, you are not going to be a fan of this. That's all I'm going to say. And I'll leave it at that. Now, again, maybe I'll talk about that. No, I absolutely will talk about that more if I do a spoiler review, but that's just where I'll leave it there. So overall, again, just to summarize, I thought the movie itself was fine. Didn't like everything about it. And even though I thought the performances were pretty good, I thought the what we got from every character, I really liked. Again, with the exception of some of the decisions made with Superman, especially his backstory. Again, not going to go into any more detail about that. But with that being said, guys, I am going to go ahead and throw the question to you guys. What did you guys think about Superman? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know about it in the comment section down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe if you are new. Make sure to ring the bell for notifications. And let me know, again, if you want me to do more of these, more movie reviews. And I hope I'll see you guys for my next video. Bye for now.